Folks, welcome in to sportsbookreview.com. It's Wednesday, and it's time to talk some Major League Baseball. And from my side of the table here, pockets ain't empty, brah. Boston, big time last night. Over the 5.5, cashing tickets, making it exciting. Runs all over the place, small ballparks. We are here to talk some Major League Baseball today, and this is the Major League Baseball team. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Jason Radowitz, along with Kyle Purviance. Hot once again on the East Coast, bringing that fire and heat, Jason. I think we went up there to Boston and took care of business last night, didn't we?
Yeah, I had the over 5.5 in the first 5 innings. That cashed, I believe, in the 3rd inning, and then Donnie was able to get those Red Sox a little bit later in that game. Tons of hits in that game, tons of base runners, tons of runs, exactly how we expected that game to play out. And it feels good because not all the time will we give out plays and it goes to the T of what we talk about in the show. But that game, I mean, it started off perfectly. Merrifield hits a homer right into the wind in the, with being 95 degrees out there.
Yeah.
And then, Michael A. Taylor hit one down to right field from the right-handed side against Pivetta, who I said I would allow a couple home runs to righties. So it was just an all-around great game, in terms of our analysis, and that doesn't happen too often. So you got to cherish it when it does.
Now, it was a lot of fun last night getting after it in that hot little ballpark up in Boston. Welcome in Kyle to the show here, and he will be trusting those Oakland Athletics tonight.
Never again. I'm like Jason is with the Diamondbacks. I will never pick the A's again. I don't care if there's no pitcher and they let them have a tee on the tee box. Never picking the A's again, and that's good for you guys if you want to bet the A's tonight, because when I pick them, they lose. Luckily, the Braves saved me a little bit getting that first 5. The Dodgers later on, getting that first 5 and the under, that helped me out a little bit. But, disappointed in the A's. But one good thing that happened, I already hit my play of the day today. Cubs went over the 3.5, which is a good thing for me. And anytime a team from Wisconsin loses, I'm happy. So I'm so happy that the Bucks fans are upset. I'm happy the Brewers fans are upset. I can't wait for Packers fans to be upset. Anytime bad things happen to Wisconsin, I'm happy. So I'm in good spirits today and ready for the show.
All right, we'll see what happens here as we get after it live and in-game updates here. Got 2 games right now and actually got some pretty good run scoring here. Right off the bat, Chicago Cubs 5-0 in the top of the first inning as they enter into the bottom of the – actually, I don't even know if they're in the bottom of the first inning. They actually had to go to the bullpen before getting out of the first half of the first inning, 5-0 with the Cubs, and then take a look at the Cardinals now extending their lead 4-1 over the Diamondbacks. Some pretty bad pitching here on display, and Jake Arrieta, just because he has a 5-run lead here, that don't mean much as well. We'll see how that carries out throughout the rest of the day with Milwaukee. But Jason, I'll start with you first. Any action that you had in these first 2 ball games today?
Did not. I did like the Cardinals over 4.5 on the team total. It was a lean. The Cardinals offense obviously hasn't been up to par this season, but going up against Riley Smith, you figured they'd have some chances, be able to score some runs against a guy that kind of goes from starting to relief pitching back to being a starter. That's hard to prepare for when you're a pitcher in the majors doing all of that kind of stuff. So he hasn't had a great year. Expected the Cardinals to do damage. They've got 4. They would need 1 more for that over 4.5 on the team total. And then, of course, with the Cubs and Brewers, we didn't know anything about Ashby. We didn't really know what he was going to do out there. But obviously, being a lefty, the Cubs smash lefties, so you would roll with the Cubs here in that spot. Of course, they're up 5-0 already, and that seems to be looking good for all the Cubs backers there. And if you have the team total, already won in the first inning, so you're already living good today. So those are the 2 plays that I would have liked, but didn't take either of them.
Yeah, it's interesting watching this game, too, because you can't really fault Ashby all that much. He had a tailor-made double play ball hit to Willie Adames, and he just let it go under his glove in the left field, which opened up the floodgates here. A perfect suicide squeeze that actually turned into a base hit. So a little bit of bad luck for the pitcher, but they're already down 5-0. We'll see if they climb back. Kyle, anything from you today to cheer on, or maybe even cashing a ticket already between the Cubs, Brewers, and the Cardinals, Diamondbacks?
I like the Cubs team total. I thought it was low. Look, we've seen this so many times, these highly touted AAA prospects. Oh, they're striking out this many. But one thing that really stood out were his walks in AAA, and we've seen it. Who is the kid from Kansas City? Highly touted, pitching really, really well. They get lit up when they make their debut, even without Chris Bryant in the lineup today. I was all over that Cubs team total at cash in the first inning, which is always nice. I kind of wish the game started just as we were doing the show so that we could have given that out to everybody. But, feeling good already. It's a tough card. We got some weather issues today. A lot of stuff to sort of look at, so it's nice to get that one out of the way early. But Donnie touched on it beautifully. I would start keeping an eye on those Brewers team totals and start looking at what those run line spreads are, because Jake Arrieta, there's no guarantee Jake Arrieta is going to go out there and shut this team out. He hasn't been great in Milwaukee, certainly has a chance to get back into this game.
And a lot of people learning as well on how to bet live in game. And there's no better one to do is if there's 9 outs left in a Phillies game and the starting pitcher is out. What are you guys waiting for out here? Just bet it blindly that the other team is going to score at least 1 run over the final 9. And yesterday, just getting off another show, I wasn't paying attention all that much. I know it was 4-1. As soon as I clicked on the 9th inning, it was 4-3 with nobody out. I'm like, this is amazing to watch. And a small part of me being a Phillies fan was actually cheering for yet another solo home run just to watch history take place out here. And the fact that Jose Alvarado closed that game out and celebrated after giving up 2 runs in that inning, that I don't know, maybe that's I only gave up 2 tonight, coach. I'm ready to take this closing thing to another level here. We'll see what happens here, but the Phillies will be on the mound. The Phillies will be back again in play tonight. 97 degrees here in South Philadelphia. It is a scorcher. Let's get to the card today, have some fun, break it all down. But before we do that, thank you guys for supporting all the shows here at sportsbookreview.com. We're only a couple subscribers away from 87,000 total, going by leaps and bounds each and every day week. Thank you guys for doing that. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please do that. If you're watching live and haven't done it, that's fine. If you're watching on replay, you can still hit that subscribe button. Turn your notification bell on, because when we go live, you'll get it delivered directly to your inbox. Big games of the day today. 3:10. Why don't we get after one right away? Now, this is magical what's taking place. And I don't mean that I'm talking about the Colorado Rockies, the Pittsburgh Pirates as a season. I'm talking about it is physically impossible. I don't care if you are a analytics guy, you are a crystal ball guy, you are out here, reading, fortune cookies at this point. The fact that you almost had a no-hitter yesterday on the Pittsburgh Pirates, coupled by the day before, then getting shut out as well, I don't even know what to make of this. Now, there's a lot of injuries on Pittsburgh, but you're in Colorado. Jason, Kyle, and myself in the lineup, we would get base hits with Colorado. Jason, talk to me about this game today. Cool versus Gray. Not a great pitching matchup, at least from Pittsburgh's side. But where the hell are the Pittsburgh bats here? Did we take them at the right time on Sunday and say, leave them dead in the water now?
Probably. And, back when I was younger, I was in travel baseball. I was a really good bunter. So you might be right on that base hit. I might be able to get one, put one down third base line, get a single out of it, potentially. But I know my thumb might hit the ball, and I might lose my thumb for the rest of my life. But either way, I might be able to get a hit. But back to the game, you have Chad Kuhl versus John Gray going. Gray's hard to figure out. Was way worse on the road this year compared to being home. But also, he just doesn't have great numbers on the year. He's probably got to pitch better just to make another team. Maybe by the deadline he gets traded, so his value kind of grows if he does pitch better. So I do think the Rockies are the better team, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Pirates got back on track offensively in this game against Gray. I wouldn't be surprised, of course, if Kuhl allowed 8 runs to the Rockies in this game either. The Rockies are pretty good at walking. They can get on base at home. They're not a terrible team to begin with at home. So I think the over is the play, but would I recommend the over and tell you go make the play? Not really, but I think that is the best play when you're looking at this game.
Yeah, team totals on both sides here, Kyle. Pittsburgh Pirates here at the MGM Sportsbook, 4.5 minus 130. And then if we flip it over to the Rockies, they're at 5.5 at minus 130. But again, it's one of those, they're in Coors. Pittsburgh does stink. Should there be runs? Probably. But it all comes down to you can't just take the leap of faith. I think this is what's going to happen. Both of these lineups are horrendous. And that's why you get like 2-0 games out in Colorado, Kyle.
Yeah, it's awful. And just for the record, how I'd get on base, I like to take one for the team. So I'd have that big elbow pad on, and I'll just lean in a little bit and just take one on there and dance on first base, point to the fans and show them my on-base percentage is 1,000. That's what I'm talking about there. Why the hell do you need to swing the bat? Just get hit by one of those things, which would be terrifying. That's why I put the big sleeve on. Now to this game. I don't know how the hell you bet this game, honestly. It's scary as hell. It's a dog or pass situation for me. Kuhl in his last couple of starts has been okay, 37, 31 fantasy points. One of those games was against Colorado. Gray, on the other hand, is wildly, you have a wide range of outcomes here from -8 to 45 in his next start, then a 0 in his last one. His last 3 against Pittsburgh, 43, 6, and 0. Pittsburgh has lit up Gray. So I'm looking in the first 5 innings here, if I'm going to give the slight edge to Kuhl, which sort of makes me sick to my stomach, they're plus 160 on the money line in the first 5 innings. So Am I betting this game? Absolutely not. I want nothing to do with this series after that Sunday team total, which you guys so graciously gave to me and some of my followers, which I appreciate you for. But if I'm going to bet it, I think I'll just take the dog or pass. Plus 160 on the money line. We've already seen Cool outduel Gray in this same sort of matchup in Pittsburgh hit this team. So if this is, look, you're a Pirates fan, you're a Rockies fan, it's the only game on TV, I'll take the plus money. I'll take the dog plus 160 in the first 5 innings.
Yeah, there are going to be some times to take the Pittsburgh team total. And being in Colorado, you thought maybe they just by default they would score runs. Not necessarily the case in this one. Looks like today Frazier is decent, Reynolds is decent, the rest of the lineup horrendous. So we'll see how it plays out. But wouldn't it be amazing? Like if they got shut out like 3 straight nights in Colorado, you shut the team down. Just shut it down. We'll see you next year in 2022. I don't want to see anything more out of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Amazing stuff on that. Let's keep moving down the list as we go here. The Angels and the Yankees. Ohtani, the MVP of the American League. If Ohtani gets hurt tonight, he still should be the MVP. That's my stance on this one here. If he stays healthy, he might hit 50. Think about this. A pitcher is going to hit 50 home runs in Major League Baseball, and he's barely ahead in the MVP race. Just let that one sink in a little bit here. Ohtani versus Herman, 126 to 130 across the board. 10s across the board as well, opening up from 9.5. Might shy away, but finally the Yankees broke out the bats last night, got into double digits. Ohtani hits 2 home runs. You look at Ohtani on the mound and say, well, he should be able to quell the Yankee bats. I do agree. But it's hot, it's steamy, that tiny-ass ballpark. No way I'm going under here, Jason.
Yeah, look, Herman has not been really good. 15 runs in his last 3 starts. Hasn't pitched through the 5th inning since 6-6, so it's been a couple starts since he went 5 innings, or through 5 innings, I should say. So, yeah, look, Ohtani, obviously the much better pitcher. I think there's lots of power in that Angels lineup. Again, Ohtani, Walsh, we talk about this every single day. It seems like Ohtani, Walsh, they're home run guys. They can do it again. We say this every single time, and it happens every single time. That's how good Ohtani is, like Donnie was talking about. So you get the Angels plus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 135. You could even look at them, as a slight underdog in the first 5 innings. I wouldn't go the full game. Again, the Yankees bullpen, way better than the Angels bullpen. And Ohtani, not going to go more than 5 innings, might get 6 if he gets lucky because he will walk a ton of batters, and that helps his pitch count kind of rise pretty quickly. So if you're going to look at the Angels here, and I do think you should, I go towards the first 5, either plus 0.5 in the first 5, or take it on the money line with that plus money and go that route. Yeah.
Yesterday, finally, Ohtani moves ahead in the standings here for MVP of the American League, minus 125 on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Vladimir Guerrero now plus 110. Look, again, Kyle, let that sink in. A legitimate starting pitcher is going to hit 50 home runs, and he might barely win MVP. What's your take on this game tonight?
That's absolutely incredible. I just don't get it. The number, it's just super bizarre, but whatever. Now, the take on this game, I completely agree with Jason. It's one of my favorite plus money spots, again, are the Angels. Now, they didn't get it done last night, but I mean, Ohtani, he's been throwing dimes every time he pitches. Way, way, way better than Herman. Herman has actually been lit up in 2 of his last 3 starts against the Angels, and you get that plus money in the first 5 innings. And again, you don't want to rely on that Angels bullpen late in games. So taking a side there is crazy because the Yankees are one of the best bullpens in the league, and the Angels are one of the worst. So Angels, first 5 innings is the way I would go here. Just a lean. I don't have anything official on it, but it's one of the better plus money spots in my view today. I think they get it done, Ohtani over Herman. And the lineup profiles really, really nicely for the Angels. Once again, we're going to be relying on those lefties, right? We want Walsh, etc. We're relying on those lefties. Rendon's not bad against righties. He's actually a little bit better against righties as well. Not a lot of BVP stats here. A lot of these Angels haven't faced Herman, but I do like him in the first 5 innings, and I'll take that plus money.
Yeah, it'll be, again, 94 degrees at first pitch, wind blowing dead out at the 10 miles an hour, and also an over umpire behind the plate. So it should get interesting here. And we do know Ohtani's not going to go all that deep into the game. So heat and humidity in that ballpark, just get it in the air. It's going to leave the yard. Similar thoughts to myself last night and Jason, what we're looking at in Boston, saying, there's a lot of good games yesterday, which, again, sometimes I always like to say, you get a little bit lucky on the games that you like. The game I liked hit. There was a lot of games the game I loved hit. The games I liked didn't do so well. But there's no way when there's games on the board where I'm going to bypass the East Coast when you have 96 to 97 degrees. You're ludicrous for looking anywhere else but the Eastern Seaboard when you have these conditions, particularly on that Philadelphia Phillies, tiny ballpark. Yankees, tiny ballpark. Boston, tiny ballpark. And as well, the Toronto Blue Jays, tiny ballpark as well. Helps out with the over-unders here. Let's keep going as we move it down the list. How about this one here? Take a look at San Diego and Cincinnati yesterday. And correct me if I'm wrong. I believe San Diego got to 5 runs very early in that game. Their team total was a 5.5 yesterday. Not able to get by. That one hurt most people. But you're going to get a good shot today out of Gutierrez, one of the highest xFIP guys that you can find from a starting pitcher perspective. Going against Musgrove, 10s across the board, rightfully so. Hitter's ballpark, you're seeing an increase in numbers as well. Pinnacle Offshore, Jason, opened up at -150. That's growing to -177. Any thoughts here between the Padres and the Reds in this one?
Yeah, I like the Padres more, of course, against Gutierrez. But I'm not going to go sit here and say, yeah, the Padres, they're going to be able to score 6 runs in this game, even with Gutierrez having a high xFIP, even with the Reds bullpen not being that great. I don't trust the Padres that much with their offense, but I do think they'll score a couple runs early in this game. Of course, Tatis, Grisham, Machado, Cronenworth, all these guys have potential power against a guy like Gutierrez here. So, yeah, I think they can score some runs early in this game, and that will be enough for Musgrove, who he's allowed 7 earned runs in June in 24.1 innings pitched, 24 strikeouts, just 7 walks. So Musgrove will do fine, although the Reds offense really isn't bad. So he might, look, this isn't my top play, but I do think the Padres will end up winning the first 5 by more than a run. So I'd go to the Padres -0.5 in the first 5. But yeah, look, the lefties like Winker, Votto, they've got potential against Musgrove. He allows some power to lefties. Winker, Votto have some potential there. Also Castellanos, Suarez, they've got some power in their bats against righties as well. So it's a tough one. This game, it's really tough because you got some really great bats, some solid pitching with Musgrove. It's tough. It's tough for sure.
No, certainly. Jake Burns says, I swear it's the only show that actually interacts with the chat. Well, Kyle interacted quite a bit with the chat yesterday, so hopefully we'll see some more interaction today out of Kyle as well. Get your thoughts on this San Diego-Cincinnati game. As we talked about, 10s across the board here. San Diego should be able to hit Gutierrez, and if they don't hit Gutierrez, Kyle, what should they be able to do? Hit that whack bullpen for the Reds.
Exactly. So this is one of the rare moments where I'm like, I do like the Padres in the first 5. Musgrove is certainly more consistent than Gutierrez. Unfortunately, the last time he faced the Reds, he got lit up, and this wasn't that long ago, and so did Gutierrez, and there were runs flying, and that's how it was. I do lean the Padres in the first 5 innings. I don't mind taking them the full game because of exactly what you mentioned. It's not a great starting pitcher, and then when you get to that bullpen, the Padres, a highly used bullpen, they're probably going to be, I think you'll see that bullpen tail off once we start getting into later July and August because they pitch so many innings out of that bullpen. But it's a much, much better bullpen than you're going to get out of the Reds. Both pitchers can be had. I will say Musgrove, the more consistent, 4 of his last 5 starts, 35 fantasy points or more. Of course, the one start where he didn't get there is when he got lit up by the Reds. So that's the one sort of caveat here. I don't mind the Tatis home run prop. I don't mind those lefties either for the Reds, Winker, Barnhart, etc. I think you can get a nice little price, especially Barnhart, not really known as a huge, huge power hitter. 4 home runs on the year, but Winker 1 for 12 in his career off of Musgrove. So that would be the scary part there. But Musgrove certainly struggles a little bit against some of these lefties for the Reds. I'll take the Padres first 5 and the full game. It's just I was going to put them on my value menu. I'm getting a little bit scared. -0.5 in the first 5 and get it -135. You don't want to take the money line at -190. So a lean here to the Padres. I do like Musgrove over Gutierrez, and I like a little sprinkle on that Tatis home run prop as well.
All right, let's get to some value menu wagers on the card for today. I don't have a best bet and a banker today. There are some decent looks at here, but not necessarily what I love. And I know somebody in the chat box said, Donnie, why don't you go with a pick 3 in one of these day games? The most I've ever gone on a play of the day is 2, and I went 2-0 that one night. But I got to tell you, if I handed you my full card of what I like, now, I'm not talking about betting because I didn't bet them all myself. You would have been like, Donnie, come on, man, just the best bets. Why are you giving us all these plays out here? Trust me, the best bets are the ones that you want to bet, and certainly the value menu wager plays that can earn you some money. I'm actually going to go to the city of Philadelphia tonight with my value menu wager, and that's on the Philadelphia Phillies team total over 4.5. Now, Aaron Nolan's on the mound. He'll probably be able to quiet the bats for the Miami Marlins, so to speak. If they even have any live bats at this point, I don't even know. They need to only score off the bullpen. So if Aaron Nolan's going to go 6 or 7 innings, maybe you look for what, Kyle? Late in the game, a team total of 1 for the Marlins
Bingo.
and say, hey, after 2 outs, I'll be free rolling and see what happens against this awful, awful bullpen. But the Phillies for themselves here, Holloway's not going to go that long, which means you're probably going to get a full bullpen game for the Miami Marlins. And sometimes when you take a look at the Philadelphia Phillies lineup, Gene Segura getting healthy now, it's a decent-looking lineup the way it profiles, and also a high xFIP guy in Holloway. But again, we're looking at the conditions here. A small ballpark, 96 degrees at first pitch. By the time the game ends, 87 degrees with a wind that is blowing out to right field at about 10 miles an hour. You just have to take it. If the ball is in the air, it's leaving the yard tonight. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Phillies here on BetMGM at 4.5 as a team total. Where's the value in your card tonight, Jason? What are you looking at?
Yeah, so looking at the Blue Jays game, excuse me, and against the Mariners, it's Justice Sheffield on the mound for the Mariners. He's been lit up, 1.72 home runs per 9 innings, 3.332 batting average balls in play, leaving 67.8% of runners on base. He's been lit up, 16 runs allowed, 19 innings pitched, 27 hits, 9 walks with 8 home runs. So he's allowed 2 home runs in each of his last 4 games. And now you're playing in Buffalo. Of course, Toronto's still in Buffalo, and more home runs should be on the way. Now, it's a value because looking at this weather, it makes you not want to bet it, of course, because there's going to be rain, there's going to be wind blowing in at a high, 16 miles per hour. So it's not the best weather game, but Sheffield's still walking batter, still struggles with guys on base. You're going to have, 9 righties in the lineup against a lefty. It all kind of just makes sense, except for the weather. I still think they'll get the job done. I think the Mariners could, obviously stick around as well against Mats, who allows a bunch of home runs as well. But it's a value play for that reason because of the weather. So I'm going with the Blue Jays over 5.5 on the team total at -135. I still think they'll get 6, but it's a little tricky with 60 miles per hour winds blowing in.
Cuban Connect helping out the chat box here says it's raining in Miami. Roof will be closed. Well, go sit in that roof because we're going to watch the game in Philadelphia. Kyle, what do you think here about Tech stepping up to the plate here with some value menu wagers for you?
Well, I love the Phillies today as well, but that line keeps getting steeper and steeper. This morning it was -0.5 in the first 5 at -145. It's jumped up all the way to -170, so it's a little bit hard to take that. But Nola has been very, very good against the Marlins. I do like his strikeout prop. Someone mentioned that in the chat box, over 6.5. I do think Nola can get there on that strikeout prop. When you just sort of look at his last 5 starts against Miami, 3 out of 5 games over 55 fantasy points. His worst outing was a 25. And then you mentioned it. It's going to be a bullpen game here after they get through Holloway, who is not very good. So I do like the Phillies, -0.5 in the first 5. It's a shame that it juiced up to -170, but I do expect them to get it done. And I, like you, do not have a best bet and banker on the day. But my other value play, it's Happy Matt Harvey Day. And we get the Houston Astros against Matt Harvey. You got a team total of over 5.5 at -130. It's juiced up for 5.5 runs, absolutely. Or it's -135 now. But again, it's Matt Harvey. It's the Astros. I expect them to get to that team total. Of course, they profile beautifully. A T-ball team profiles beautifully against Matt Harvey. Give me that Astros team total over 5.5.
This would be an interesting test because I was tooting the horn of the Astros about a week and a half ago, best team in the American League. Then they play the dregs of the American League and get stomped out nightly, which is amazing. Yeah. So it's almost like you want to take a back step here because, yes, it is Matt Harvey. They should clown Matt Harvey, but they should be clowning a couple of these really bad pitchers. They haven't been able to get ahead. We'll see if that continues tonight or what we have. And by the way, hey, Houston, you want to get your offense going? If it's 79 degrees, like, oh, it's way too hot down here in Houston at 79 degrees to open up the roof and let the elements in. Open up the elements in. They will bomb Harvey. Harvey won't even last 2 2/3 innings if you open the roof tonight. Get it done. But, of course, they don't open that roof. It's much too hard to do, and you don't want to waste all that electricity down there. I fully understand it. But that's the value menu wagers. Flipping over. Jason, I hope you can save the day here with a best bet and banker because me and Kyle are tapping out for the day so far. So take it away. The floor is yours. Yeah,
look, I'm the only one with the guts here. I get it. It makes sense. No, but I'm going to go with a game that starts at 4 o'clock. So we could all get this the betting done early, and then you could do whatever you want, watch the NBA, have some fun with whatever. Look, the Rays Nationals game, it's going to be at 4 o'clock, and 97 degrees, wind blowing to center field around 10 miles per hour, and you have basically an NL Central battle between, it will be Waka and Lester. Now, Drew Rasmussen, he'll be starting this game for the Rays, but Walker will come in later. Well, why isn't Walker starting? They don't want him facing Schwarber, who's red hot. And eventually, by the third inning, Walker will have to face Schwarber. But it'll be one less that he'll have to face Schwarber and Soto, two guys where he's not great against lefties. So he'll have to face them. He just won't face them here. It'll be Rasmussen, who's actually been better against lefties than righties, even though he's a righty. So here we've got Lester going. He just got rocked in his last start, allowed 7 earned runs. He's also allowed 1 home run in every game in June. So now 97 miles per hour, or 97 temperature, miles per hour, 9 blowing to center field. Lester should allow some home runs in this game. Then you got Waka. We talked about this before. Before his amazing start against the Red Sox, he allowed 11 hits, 5 runs in that game, and went less than 4 innings pitched. It was a weird game, that Red Sox-Rays game. Pivetta, I talked about him yesterday. He was incredible in that game with Waka as well. It was a weird game where they just both pitched really well. Hitting was absent. Outside of that, Waka hasn't done anything very special. Lester, of course, allowing plenty of balls in play. Kind of got lucky earlier in the season. Now, obviously, in his last start, didn't look great, and he's been allowing plenty of home runs recently as well. Wander Franco, been a big guy in that lineup for the Rays. Should be big against a lefty there in Lester, so he's a big addition to that lineup. So I just like the over 9.5 at -120. Again, with that weather, the rain should hold off in time for this game to conclude, and both offenses should be able to start hitting some bombs in this game and score a lot of runs.
No, we'll see what happens here. And again, East Coast, you got some of that action here. We just talked about Tampa and Washington as we flip it down here on the odds lightning round. So we'll skip over that game. Also a doubleheader between Detroit and Cleveland. We'll skip those as well. So we'll get back to the city of Philadelphia here. Holloway versus Nola. Tough price to pay here. And Jason, when we take a look at the Philadelphia Phillies full game, right? -220, -235. Should Aaron Nola dominate and the Phillies hit tonight? Yes. But if Aaron Nola leaves the game in the 6th inning and it's 4-1, what are you doing betting the Phillies full game? Like, just bet them run line first 5 innings with Nola. If it doesn't win, there's a damn good chance you're not winning that bet anyway, and you saved a hell of a lot of money on juice. Quick thoughts here, Jason, out of Philadelphia tonight. Hot, muggy conditions. Miami's in town. Can the Phillies wake up and hit for Nola? Or is this one of those where, hey, we might be looking at 1-0 and scraping runs until the bullpen gets in, then we see what we got here?
I love the middle of the lineup for the Phillies today. Hoskins, Harper, Realmuto. They'll be guys that will have to produce. They've been the more consistent guys in that lineup, of course, and they're the all-stars of that lineup. Well, like you always like to talk about, Holloway, what's a good outing for him? 2-3 runs in 4 innings? That's likely what you'll get out of him.
Yeah.
His batting average of balls in play, just 224, so he's not getting killed with base hits. But I think that changes. Like, he's been a little bit lucky. I mean, just be honest a little bit. So, a good outing for him would be 2 to 3 runs in 4 innings. So I like the Phillies. I agree with you. I think they'll score enough runs, get that over on the team total. I would look that way as well. And the Marlins, they can maybe get a couple hits, maybe score a couple runs with those lefties in the lineup. Sanchez and Chisholm would be the guys that could go yard versus Nola, who has struggled just a little bit with power against lefties. So maybe they can keep it a little bit closer, and the Phillies could, have some pressure on them, make them score a little bit more instead of a 3-0, 4-0 game. But I like Nola in this spot. I think the Phillies get the job done for sure.
All right, let's head down to that little ballpark that we call Salem Field up in Buffalo, Coliseum in Toronto. Sheffield and Mats, 2 lefties on the mound. Heavy favorite here. Opened up at FanDuel, New Jersey at 205. That now sits 270. Opened up offshore Pinnacle 177. That now sits at 240 here. So big favorite for the Toronto Blue Jays, and rightfully so. 10.5 across the board. If I'm looking at the profile here for the offense, and last night, calling a shot with my first home run prop of the year that I actually bet myself, or actually the second one, I hit one with Aaron Judge. But I just took Nolan Arenado last night. $25, throw it down. He actually hit the only home run in the St. Louis Cardinals game, which was fantastic. Shocked me, quite frankly. Teoscar Hernandez today in this lineup, right in the middle of the order, Kyle. 48 at-bats versus lefties this year. A 444 ISO number and a 498 weighted on base average. I'm calling my shot tonight. Teoscar Hernandez goes yard. What do you think about this game?
I like that. He's 2 of 2 lifetime in his career, a single and a double off of Sheffield. I actually love this Blue Jays lineup. It was close to being my play of the day. That team, the only way you can bet this is the team total. I mean, the numbers are so juiced across the board.
Yeah.
You get the team total over 5.5 minus 135. We're looking at advantages here of 13, 45, 44, 39, 25, 95, and 15%. George Springer is actually atrocious versus lefties, which is he's kind of the Mookie Betts.
It's early.
He's the Mookie Betts right now of the American League. Well, I'm looking
You
at
have to make a phone call with this guy, Kyle, or what?
Yeah.
Let me know.
His three-year weighted OPS.
Yeah.
He's 918 versus righties and 566 versus lefties. So that's not just a this year thing. This is over his last 3 years, which is why I like to look at that sample size. But the rest of that lineup should absolutely rake. I don't mind Teoscar Hernandez going yard. You can put a home run prop on Vladimir Guerrero as well. The Blue Jays should get it done, but the only way you can bet it and have a good conscience that you're not paying way too high of a price is take that Blue Jays team total, which I absolutely don't mind.
All right. So, yeah, you do expect runs there. And again, when you're playing in these smaller ballparks, you just get it in the air. It's going to leave the yard. We'll see if some of these power bats can come to play tonight. And also, if Vladimir Guerrero Jr. can keep up with a pitcher in the home run race. Think about that. All right, let's keep moving. Keep on bashing in that. It's going to catch you. Ohtani's going to go down with an injury. Like, Donnie, you jinxed it here. 969, 970. Kansas City and Boston, two lefties on the mound here in this game, Jason, as we take a look. 150s to 160s across the board, and no surprise here, 10.5s now moving to 11s. It's just the way the series has gone. Not as hot. It won't be in the 90s tonight, but you'll still be in the 80s. Heat and humidity, ball flying out. Martin Perez, a high XFIP guy. And also you look at a guy with Minor, you're going to be able to stack right-handed bats for the Red Sox. Any thoughts on this game up in Boston tonight, Jason?
Well, if Minor pitches anything like he did in his last start, the Red Sox should easily win this game. Minor allowed 11 hits, 9 runs to the Rangers in 5 innings in his last time out. So, yeah, now Minor, he's allowed 6 home runs in 31.1 innings pitched in June, 37 hits. That's a lot of hard fly balls that are leaving the yard. And, of course, like we like to talk about, the Red Sox, they've been hitting some long balls, maybe not last night, but the games before that, they've been at least hitting the ball in play and hitting it hard in the first place. So the Red Sox, they're the better team here. Obviously, I don't love backing Perez either, but I think he is the better pitcher here against the Royals offense that obviously they're breaking out just a little bit as well. But I still like the Red Sox here, so I would go with the minus 155 in the first 5 on the money line, and I would just go that route. But it's a difficult one. Not my favorite game on the card today.
Yeah, all right. And based on college geography here, when I fly down to Lake Jamaica or the Caribbean, I apparently fly right over Australia here. So let's give Kyle the next number.
But don't you have to go over the Atlantic to get to Australia? I mean, or do you go over the Pacific? I feel much better going over the Pacific. It means peaceful by nature. I don't like the Bermuda Triangle. I'm scared of flying. I'm a total
man. But let me tell you something. If you're out in Oregon, your pilot's flying you over the Atlantic Ocean. That's going to be a pretty long flight, man, trying to get down there to Australia.
That's what I'm saying. I'm terrified of it. But I would like to get to Australia and wrestle a kangaroo or something. That'd be fun.
Yeah, there you go. Bondi Beach. So New York Mets, Atlanta Braves here. This is yours. Lefty on lefty again here. Peterson versus Fried, who might be freed in this game, as we like to say. 145 to 160 across the board, depending on shopping at 9s across the board. Is Atlanta going to wake up? Is both of these teams going to finally wake up at the plate? It was a little bit of a slow start, but again, the Mets somehow pull one. I don't know what to make of Atlanta, Kyle, but maybe it's time that they are completely off the rails and leave them alone. We'll see what Fried can do tonight going up against the Mets, because I would like to get a shot at the Mets lineup right now.
Yeah, early in the year we were busting on Fried and attacking Fried every time he's on the mound. He's been pretty good lately, and he's been really good against the Mets. I sort of have a lean here, and Peterson, for that matter, hasn't been terrible against the Braves, and you mentioned all the Braves' struggles here. This game, complete stay away on the side. I don't like either team in the first 5 innings. A little bit nervous about their team totals. But I kind of like the under 5 in the first 5 innings, minus 120. I could maybe do a little bit of a sprinkle there. I'm not putting any money on this game. Luckily, Atlanta came through in the 5th inning, as Jason told me they would in our private little chat, which I was very grateful for. That 3-run homer saved the first 5-inning bet there. But, man, and the lineup doesn't profile terribly. Like, they should be able to hit Peterson, but the lineup's weird right now. I'd stay away from it. If you have to bet it, you want to bet it. And I agree, Fried is a can, but he's been much, much better lately. If you just look at his last 5 starts, fantasy totals, well, he had one bad game of 17, but he got 46 and 37s. His last 4 against the Mets, nothing less than a 27. Oh, that makes me nervous, but maybe the under 5 in the first 5. That's about it. Mostly a stay away game for me.
By the way, moving on to the next game here, which is kind of interesting to me because I look the S and say, oh, look, Ober's on the mound for Minnesota. I can't wait to try to break down that game. 971, 972, Minnesota and the Chicago White Sox. You're seeing line movement. I agree with it. Offshore, minus 140, Pinnacle opens up. That's not down to a minus 121. And I look at Bailey Ober here, and maybe I'm misjudging him by just not paying attention. His xFIP minus is a 92. ERA a little bit high at 4.64, but his xFIP is 3.84. Maybe a sneaky play on the Twins today going up against the White Sox? Because as I said, I agree with this line movement, Jason. What are you looking at here?
So Ober, he's actually been really good against righties and really bad against lefties. So you look at this White Sox lineup, you've got Goodwin, who has destroyed righties so far this season. Since being with the White Sox, Moncada will be another lefty in the lineup. You have Grandal. Garcia Hamilton will be at the bottom of the lineup. So there are more lefties than righties in that White Sox lineup. So I do think the White Sox can do damage after all. And then, of course, the Twins bats, they look so much better on paper than they have been all year long. But I still think they might be breaking out just a little bit. Obviously, last night we saw a big over game, and that can continue. Cease has been really good. Nothing really wrong with him. Just his walks are a little bit high. But the lineup for the Twins, it's Donaldson, Cruz, Kepler, even Polanco and Kirilloff, they've all been really good in terms of power. I think they can do that here with Cease allowing nearly 40% of hard contact. So I think over 4.5 in the first 5 at minus 120 is the play. I wouldn't rule out the Twins winning this game. I do think they have a chance. Their offense looks a little bit better, but there are enough lefties in the lineup for the White Sox where I can back Ober here if there's going to be 5 lefties in the lineup, and he's been struggling against them. So over 4.5 in the first 5 at minus 120 would be my lean for this game.
All right, Michael Knuckles says, just started watching, but live betting team totals is a thing of the past on DraftKings. So if anybody can verify that, I don't really go to DraftKings all that much. I usually like the interface of FanDuel for live betting team totals. It doesn't surprise me there. I mean, we busted out an entire book to start the season that said, not only we're not going to offer alternate team totals, we are completely done with team totals altogether. So team totals is the way to go. We keep preaching, and I hope they don't take it away because they say, oh, well, gamblers are having an edge on us on these team totals. We're just going to be done with them. I hope they don't do that. Just adjust the numbers. We'll still find value on either ways. But imagine if they took team totals away. Baseball would just die for me. Like, you'd be on the baseball show, I wouldn't even go back.
There was an offshore book I was using, Bet Now, I'll just call them out, and they have completely eliminated team totals over the last 3 days. You can't even find them anymore. And they're starting to get rid of the first 5 innings as well. It's kind of weird. Some of those offshore books are catching on and trying to take our money away. And I did just verify. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I would go the Pacific Ocean. I would just go to the left. So I'm looking at the world map right now. Like, how could I be so wrong? But damn it, I was so wrong. There we go.
Yeah, don't take my team totals away because I will have to retire and just try to find a new line of work at this point here because team totals in football, team totals in baseball, it's just a money-making machine. It's fun to sit back and watch the game. Why you would bet the actual side of a game, I don't know, but good luck to you if you do that. Let's keep moving down the list as we go. Baltimore and Houston. Harvey and Garcia on the mound. Minus 300s across the board. 9.5. An easy win for Houston. So we said like the past 5 days against these terrible Detroit Tiger and Houston Astros teams, Jason. What gives here? Or is this Jay? Whose turn is this? Kyle? Who's
yeah, Kyle go.
So, well, I got worked up over team totals.
We want Kyle to rip we want to rip Harvey. You don't want me.
I'm so scared to rip Harvey because I swear to God he's going to come out and throw 9 shutout innings tonight against the Astros. I do like the Astros team total over 5.5. And I would love the Astros minus 0.5 in the first 5 if it wasn't minus 195. So people are asking, I want that 3-pick parlay piece. If you want to parlay, that's the only way I'm putting these sorts of juiced up numbers on any sort of ticket is if I'm doing a parlay. So maybe you could do an Astros, a Blue Jays, and, one other team that you like, maybe the Padres or the Phillies. Astros, Blue Jays, Phillies, first 5 parlay. There's a triple for you guys. I think those 3 teams get it done tonight, and they're all so juiced up. But you put the minus 170, minus 180. I could probably make a ticket here and see what that comes to. I'll do it real fast just for shits and giggles. We'll have some fun here. Let's add the Astros, and let's add the Astros, the Blue Jays. Let me find the damn Blue Jays, and we'll get it on here, and I'll give you a number. And I think that's a way that you could do it here. Plus 277 if you parlay those 3 minus 0.5 in the first 5 innings. So if you want to do something like that, I like that. I also like the Astros team total. It's Matt Harvey Day, and we know how bad Matt Harvey is. I don't have to rail too much about it. His last 3 starts against Houston, here's his fantasy totals: -6, 2, and 3, nothing more than 15 in his last 5 starts overall. He's absolutely terrible. Astros should rate. Give me that team total over 5.5 minus 135.
There you go. John knows that. You guys don't line shop. Yes, chat box, you better be line shopping out here. It's the number one rule in all of sports gambling because nobody wants to be left out in the dust of saying like, hey, he got a 3.5. I got a 4.5 in the game. Well, should have line shopped out here. That is half of the battle, getting the best line possible.
Go to SBRodds.com. Go to SBRodds.com. You can shop across all your favorite sports books. I say it every day on the little clip we make.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Texas and Oakland here. Last one of the day we'll talk about here for us. Jason, Allard versus Bassett. I didn't want to give this game to Kyle, so it ended up nicely here. Give me your honest opinion on Oakland and Texas, not Kyle's opinion.
Look, Allard hasn't been a terrible pitcher this season. Bassett's been really consistent this year. Like Kyle always likes to talk about, whenever he takes him, they're non-existent offensively. That should continue in this game as well. And I don't really expect much out of the Rangers offense against Bassett. Really, the only guy in the lineup that has been, really consistent has been Garcia, maybe Gallo here and there, but he's really a home run threat or a strikeout threat. So he's either hitting a home run or he's not. So that's about it there. And I think the under 4 in the first 5 would be the play here. Again, you're playing in Oakland. That's a pitcher's ballpark. And 2 pitchers that have actually pitched pretty well this season and have given their teams chances to win when they're going out there. So under 4 in the first 5, minus 125 would be the best play for this game for me.
All right, let's wrap it up, clear the bases before we get out of here on a Wednesday, just to keep you guys updated here. 7-1 Chicago Cubs, and also in the other game here, if they take down this Menards ad here in a second, I'll go find the score. 5-1 here, St. Louis over the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hey, Arizona Diamondbacks losing on the road. Who would have thought that might happen here? But it's certainly happening once again today. I only have one play today on the value men. They're going with the Philadelphia Phillies team total over 4.5. I'll cheer that and see what happens. But guys, keep your eyes peeled in this one. I love the tweets and the DMs I'm getting now where, hey, Donnie, what do you think about the Phillies late in the game where this so-and-so other team? Hey, fire away, man. You're not going to get any other opinion out of me out of this one. Jason, what do you got today? Best bet and bankers and also your value on the card.
Yep, the value will be the Blue Jays over 5.5 on the team total at minus 135. Hopefully we get a Teoscar Hernandez home run, like you guys said, and hopefully we get a bunch of home runs from the Blue Jays to cash that ticket, even with the weather a little bit shaky there. Then the real play, the official play, over 9.5, minus 120 for the Rays and Nationals game. Lester versus Waka, NL Central. They're not in their prime anymore. Now they're in different divisions and whatnot. So they've had a lot of duels against each other. This one will be short-lived, and we'll see a lot of runs early in this game.
Kyle, what do you got here on your value menu wagers?
Well, we're going to take that Astros team total over 5.5 at minus 135. I also like, I mentioned the Phillies, minus 0.5 in the first 5. It's minus 170. It's juiced up. We gave away that 3-team parlay, the Phillies, the Astros, and Toronto in the first 5 innings. That's the only way you can do it in terms of getting the value that you like. Some home run props that everyone likes. J.D. Martinez, 9-16 lifetime in his career off a minor. 1 home run. I think J.D. Martinez is live for a home run. We like Teoscar Hernandez. I completely agree with you there. Vladimir Guerrero makes some sense. And how about Fernando Tatis? I think he can get it done today as well against Gutierrez. If you're looking for my prop of the day, it's not NBA. I went to hockey because I can't trust any of these garbage NBA teams. It's going to be the worst NBA finals in history. It's going to be 2 teams that absolutely suck who are playing in this finals. So I went to the Stanley Cup finals. I took Braden Point at least 1 assist. He had 3 assists in game 1, getting it at plus 150. So hopefully he can get an assist. I don't know shit about hockey, but I do think Braden Point can get an assist tonight at plus 150.
There you go. Kyle giving out plays where he has no idea what sport he's even in at this point. You get everything here on the MLB show. So, guys, this is why you tune in. This is the entertainment that you love here. Well over 300 people watching the entire show today. Thank you, guys, as always, here for tuning in and checking us out. We'll see if we can cash in some tickets. We'll be back tomorrow on a Thursday as we wind down the week on a 4th of July weekend, which everybody likes. Get out there, party, drink some cocktails, grill out, have some fun. I'm Donnie Seymour for Jason Radowitz and Kyle Purviance. We are the SportsBookReview.com Major League Baseball team. This was your Major League Baseball show for Wednesday. Good luck on those wagers.